Yeah, good player, very capable. So Neil's got his work cut out, but I believe Neil needs to win by 2 frames. So Neil can win 2-0 here, and that's not the best start because he hit them okay. Plenty of spin on the cue ball and straighten off. That is very cruel.
Yeah, that voice you can hear is the one and only Jimmy Croxton, the GOAT. And yeah, as you quite rightly said, this game is very weird. You do get this a little bit with group stage matches when there's only so many spots in not that many spots really. 2 from 5 is pretty short essentially. Yeah. So Neil Raybone is in a funny old position here. He needs to win by 2. That's all he needs to worry about. And he needs to worry about that because if he doesn't win by 2, he is simply not going to go through. So it's not quite in the situation where you think, if I just win my match, that'll do me. No, he needs more than that because right now, Michael Hope is currently top of the group. He is 3-0 with a frame difference of 10. So whatever happens for Michael Hope, if he wins 2 frames in this match, he cannot be knocked out. Everyone else in the group has played out. This is the final match of Group 19. So all Michael Hope has to do in the next 9 potential frames is win 2 of them. And that is job done for him. He doesn't actually need to win. Because if he wins 2 frames, it will take his frame difference, even if he were to lose 5-2, for example, take his frame difference down 3, and he'd still be above Oli Bale. Neil Raybone in winning would jump above Oli, but not above Michael Hope. Hope that all makes sense. So Neil Raybone must win by 2.
Even I'm confused.
I'll summarise.
Neil needs to win, and Michael needs to win 2 frames.
Yeah, Neil needs to win by 2 frames, and Michael just needs 2 frames. So we could have a little bit of a... It was a famous football match, wasn't there, in the 80s, where they just jogged around for a draw for a little while.
Yeah.
If it ends 4-2, it's the dream result for both of them, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
But there you go, Michael Hope. He's well aware of what he needs to do. He just said someone in the crowd there. Just one more needed. That's half the job done.
That's amazing. That's quite a comedy moment there. So he's ran around the table, knocked them balls in like they're all over the pockets, and then comes back to his chair and puts his glasses on. That's brilliant. I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And as a spectacles wearer, I might ask him about that at the end of the match, because that would probably suggest that he's probably short-sighted, i.e. can't see stuff far away, so doesn't mind, taking his glasses off to play. Because, if it's in your line of vision, I know what it's like you end up scrunching your face up. It's why a lot of people get the old Dennis Taylors on the go. But for me, if I play with my glasses, I'm struggling to see the other end of the table. As Michael makes a ball, and he might get these 2 frames done and dusted nice and quickly.
Yeah, he might do. They've not gone great. I mean, it's a nice split, but there's a couple of awkward balls here. Not easy. Got a little bit of work to do, bit of development work to do. But you're happier to get a ball than you're not. And it just takes all the pressure off. If he was to get this frame here, that's a great first shot. Oh, what a lovely cannon back as well. He was heading towards the back rail there and wasn't going to leave himself much of a shot. And then the 8 ball has re-kissed the cue ball back to perfect position. And I dare to say if the camera panned to Neil, he'd probably have a little bit of a grimace on his face when that happened. And you can't help but think that them 2 frames are going to be done and dusted right now.
Yeah, that first shot was big, wasn't it?
It was a good shot to sort of break up the awkward ball that he had, and a nice little kiss as well. But when you're playing well, you do tend to get the run of the ball as well, as you know. So
I like the way he's gone about this as well. Not for short position on that red. It looks a little bit thin on the one that's by the left centre pocket, which he'll take next after he's dispatched the one he's closest to.
Yeah, it's a thin one, but he comes back across the other side of the table, where he is now. Middle pockets do play a little bit bigger, so this makes the shot a lot easier. Commentator's curse, I've done him.
I must say, he was very, very casual with that shot, and often when you're in our seats here, Jim, you sort of tend to rule a little bit your opinions based on the body language that the player's giving you. I'm looking at that thinking, that looks mighty thin, But Michael Hope looks completely blasé and looks like he's not worried about it at all.
No.
So I'm thinking, I reckon the cameras are probably playing it up a little bit. But no, that did look tricky.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an easy shot. He didn't play the best position on his penultimate ball, but it was the ball before that, the third to last. He didn't play the greatest of shots. Pushed himself a little bit over. I still thought he would have got it, but Neil needs a nice kiss here. He doesn't want it to be touching the red. He's not left himself on that ball. It's not what he wanted. He's okay, but it's a reroute here. Needs a good kiss. He hasn't got it. Has not got it. I think you might find him playing in behind the 8 ball here. And this is a set plant. Doesn't look like a set plant, but
I think he's on the plant.
he's had a bit of form if he is.
Barely even need to make it either. It was pretty much set. Yeah, that is a bit of form. The biggest thing we've taken away from every single person we've spoken to who's played on this table so far this weekend seems to be almost like a shock. Like they cannot quite believe how quick it's playing. And I feel like we're just watching here Neil just slowly get to grips with what he's actually seeing, because he hasn't been in good shape really once in this visit.
No.
And it's it's a good thing that he's not had a huge amount of traffic in the way, and Michael missed his last colour. But you never ever fancy Neil to miss a pot. Once if he's on a ball, you fancy him. But it sort of leads into that conversation I was having with Chris just a moment ago. Every single player that's been on this table has struggled with the pace of it.
It's fast. It's like playing on glass. And obviously you've got the added pressure of course, the cameras and the crowd and the heat and everything else that's in that arena, the lights, and then you've got us tearing them apart in this room here, and all that's got to come into it. I mean, I like to think I'm sit on the fence quite a lot, but you pair, tell you what.
Yeah, Webb can be quite the devil.
Yeah, it's Webb's fault. Yeah, let's blame Webb. There's nothing wrong with a bit of constructive criticism.
You sound like the coach that I know you are, Jim.
Yes, that's right. Not at them the best, but he's potted one. Tell you what, they're too bad these. Got a bit of side on this. Watch the cue ball spin. Get the spin on that. Almost got kissed in off.
Yeah, this looks like a little bit of a funky layout. I don't think it's just particularly nice.
No, it's his first couple of shots really.
Yeah,
that's what counts. Got to dink this in and sort of stop the white reasonably quick. Take these balls out at the top of the table. Oh, that's a poor shot from Neil, really. It wasn't easy. I mean, it was an horrible little dink, but you've got to say this is a poor shot, really, for someone of Neil's calibre.
Well, that just looks like he's just not. He's put all of his attention on the pot, and I don't think he's even thought about
Going in off,
the
yeah.
idea that he might go in off.
Well, the red came into play there, and obviously I think he was maybe expecting to clip that red, but it's not turned out that way. And he's left Michael again a great chance for that second frame that he needs to top this group. Oh, he's okay. He's okay. It's mega quick, this table.
Yeah, and I mean, Chris just said to us a moment ago it's the quickest table he's ever played on, which I think will make a few who've had sort of quite chastening experiences out there this weekend feel maybe a little bit better about themselves. One thing I will say is some players have adapted quite quickly to it. Michael Hope looks like one of them. Flies in the 8 ball, and Michael Hope has his third frame. And Neil Raybone is in serious danger. Remember what we said at the first juncture, he needs to win by 2 here. And right now, Michael Hope has just gone 3-1 in front. Neil Raybone running out of time. Needs to win all the remaining frames. It was the match against Oli Bale that did for Neil. A 5-1 defeat to the Bullets. I say 3-1.
It's 2-1.
Have I miscounted? My apologies.
It's 2-1.
I got it in my head that Mike had already done the job, which he hasn't. But now he has. So he can play with freedom. Neil has a tiny bit of margin, but not much. If he loses one more frame, he has to win all the remaining frames in the match. Sorry folks, got a touch ahead of myself there. How's progress been for the Joker in the British Open, Jimmy? How are you going?
Yeah, topped my group, which was nice. Played some decent stuff. It's I've been full time now, so I'm coaching, and that's helping, I think, because obviously, you can't always play well, of course, and it's a shame that you can't, but of course that's never going to happen. So I find myself kind of listening to myself, because of course you can't tell your students one thing and do another. You'd be a complete hypocrite. So you find yourself sort of saying, well, what would I tell these people? And it does improve you as a player. So I'm enjoying it. Having a good time with a lot of good players, and they're getting some successes, winning tournaments, which is nice, and I'm getting nice reviews and nice feedback. People are supporting my journey, so it's good. It feels good to sort of come back, after my health woes and do okay. So
yeah, I feel like you're going in the right direction with a few different bits.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's nice to be on the table quite a lot. Whether I'm playing or coaching, I'm involved, so I feel in touch with it at the moment. Ooh, I thought he'd gone off there. I think he thought he went in off as well.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at your wee group there. Played 4, won 3, lost 1. Frame difference of 11. We'll take that.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Very tidy.
Not too bad.
Oh, the decider against Sheppy's the one that got away.
Yeah,
Tell you what, that was probably a massive win for Sheppy.
It was. He needed to win that to stay in, and it was a weird one really. I could have played a loss of turn shot, and I didn't like it, because it was his break, and I had a feeling if I played the loss of turn, he was going to put me in a position where I've either got to get out the snooker and it's a tight gap, and as soon as I hit them, the ball drops in. So if I commit a foul, I've lost. Or he puts me in a position where it's a re-rack because I can't play a legal shot, and he breaks and clears. So I thought, I'm going to try and get on me 8 ball, and I did. I played a great shot to get on the 8 ball. Oh dear. Took it up there. It was a tough shot up the rail, rattled it, and he cleared up. But it was a good game. Good standard. But he's still fighting for second place at the moment with Charlie Earnshaw in the group, so that's interesting.
Yeah, well, Charlie got the win over Sheppy yesterday, which is what sort of set the cat among the pigeons in, what number are you? Group 30.
Yeah, right down the bottom. Yeah. Shove Croxton down the bottom. That's what they always say.
Yeah, still some working out to do in quite a few of our groups, and your group, Jimmy, not being an exception. Jordan Shepherd has to play David Mills. Charlie Earnshaw is currently playing Adrian Chadwick.
So Adrian's a local lad to me. He's only 4 or 5 miles away. He's a good player. He can play.
And it is going to come down to frame difference.
Yeah.
Because Jordan and Charlie are on the same.
Is there one frame difference between them?
There's two currently, but that is live, so Charlie just needs to win the match first of all, and that will help his frame difference a little bit. But he's going to the thing that's going to go against him is you're probably going to make Sheppy a pretty big favour against David Mills, who's only won 6 frames in the entire competition, as Neil levels things up at 2 each.
Yeah, big frame that, Neil.
And yeah, so Charlie's going to have to win pretty handsomely and rely on Sheppy dropping a few frames, and if things go his way, then that head-to-head that they had yesterday will come into effect. So Michael Hope here has done his job. He will be through, and the one who will be keeping an eye on proceedings is the Bullets, Oli Bale, who is also in this group, and he is a big Michael Hope fan right now. He wants to keep Neil away from victory. Neil must win by 2 frames to qualify for the last 64. Would love a ball, gets a ball. I tell you what, these have come out quite nice, you know. These have come out quite nice. There is a little bit of work. There is the Bullet. He's watching. And I think, judging by my geography in the room, I think he's right in Michael Hope's corner as well, as he should be. Yeah, there's a little bit of work to do at the bottom left of the table. But it's just really that red that's just slightly above the other, closest to the left centre pocket. That's his only issue. Could probably make a case for the red being close to the right centre being a problem as well, but Neil can work with that. There's balls around it. He'll double if he wants.
Oh. His heart must have been in his mouth then. He was close to the end off there. He's actually landed okay, you know.
Yeah, can you screw into that yellow and move it out of the way?
I don't know whether you'll screw into the yellow or whether you'll drop just in and out behind it and drop it into the middle. No, he's going to screw it, you're right. Nice shot. He's on it. He's definitely on the one in the middle.
Yeah, it's a good chance here. Now what do you do about that red to the right centre pocket? Do you try and move it? Do you play for a double? Do you back yourself to make it down the rail?
I think you've got to take it down the rail, and you can't leave it to your last ball because the 8 doesn't go in this closest corner pocket to us. So I think he's got to drop this in the middle now, play it up the rail and bring the cue ball over to the left-hand side of the table as we look. So we're dropping this to the middle, leaving the cue ball a little bit further on the red, sort of pushing through maybe a couple of inches. Chop the red on the right rail, up that rail, and bring the cue ball right across this left-hand side of the table. That's the route that I'd go. He's not going that route though. He's going to come across on this one and play the one up the rail by the looks of it. Oh. This is horrible.
Yeah, how would you like these?
I just don't think he's gone the right way there. I really don't think he's gone the right way. He's left himself so much more work to do here with this shot. Play it to top left and then play the red down this right hand pocket as we look. Or is he going to go into it? He's going to try and go into it. Shot this will be. What a shot. That's a very good shot.
goodness me.
That's a great shot. Played that really well. I didn't see him going that way.
Yeah, it was very much sort of... You can see that was the plan that he made, and he had to leave it till late to do it. But he very much committed, and fair play to Neil. He's executed a couple of brilliant shots. Still a bit more work to do.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an excellent out.
What a nice finish this is going to be. His back's against the wall.
Yeah, this will be a bit of a knife really for Oli Bale, who is watching right into Neil's eyes as he makes this 8-ball.
Yeah, he's looking him in the eyeballs now, going, please miss, please miss. Wow, what an out that is.
Yeah, that's a fantastic clearance from Neil Raybone. Had to really, really dig deep on it. And yeah, an interesting couple of choices in there, because obviously he tried to screw into the problem early on, was able to solve it. Let me take a look at a couple of the ladies watching. That's Mary Talbot there and Emma Parker, two of the women's pros. Mary partnered Michael Hope in the mixed pairs at the back end of the year, so those two know each other well. Both play out of Spots and Stripes in Red Hill. I think she's been leaning on Michael quite a bit for a bit of sort of 8-ball coaching and that kind of thing. It's sort of turning into a little bit of a hub. I mean, it's not quite a players' pool in snooker in Newcastle under Lyme, but it's not a million miles away as old Spots and Stripes, is it? Some good players down there.
There is, yeah. There is.
You should have like some kind of like Raw versus
Coach
SmackDown sort of Survivor Series.
Look, if they
Who's got the best club?
Well, of course it's players. Absolutely. Well, Neil will definitely be happy to see a dry break here.
I can tell you one man who won't be. I can tell you one man who'll pretend to be annoyed but actually won't care one bit, and that's Michael Hope. He's done his job. He'll be professional to the end because that's the sort of guy he is, but ultimately he's not exactly going to check out, but he's not going to lose any sleep over a dry break in this match.
That's a nice bit of cueing as well. Lovely shot.
Yeah, it was a confident shot, wasn't it, from Neil?
You got to say, you fancy him for these from here to take that 2-frame advantage, which is what he needs.
Dry break and 4-3 would be fun though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would put the pressure on it. Absolutely would, yeah.
It's the sort of pressure on a scoreboard that you don't really get in regular tournaments, but in this group phase eliminator, that's what you can have happen.
Like I say, I think the beauty for Neil now, of course, is that Michael can kind of relax. So therefore, will he relax to the point that, he's not really all that fussed about what's going on? You'd like to think not, but that his pressure's off.
Yeah, we often think that around the Monday nights, don't we? When you've got your final match and you need a result against a player who's maybe already out. I think the fact that he's not out, he's through, he's playing well. It sort of serves him to keep playing well rather than just throwing it in. I think that sort of, helps that a little bit. I do think you're right. If Michael was already eliminated at this stage and couldn't do anything with the result, I think it's easier, isn't it, to sort of just mentally check out.
Of course.
And I think Michael's the type of guy who's going to be concentrating because he's going to be hoping to be on this table tomorrow, maybe running deep in the tournament, so any time he can get in there, any form he can carry over is valuable. But this is a lovely out from Neil Raybone. Really good. He's really stood up, I think, in the last sort of 10 minutes or so. Especially after going down 2-0.
Yeah, he does that. He's granite, is Neil. He's very, very difficult to beat. Never makes it easy for you. You've got to love him.
Absolutely seething is the bullet. Well, that's what he thinks of it. Not that you had to work too hard to see that. Other interesting groups, we've got Group 27, where Carl Morris is going to take on Scott Pride, who is currently top of the group with 3 wins out of 3. Carl Morris must win that to try and qualify.
I think he's got to win by a good margin, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, I think so. Eddie Barker lying currently in second.
Needs a ball. Needs a ball. He's made a ball.
He's got one.
Oh, and look at these yellows. They are as nice as you'd want them. Right, Neil. Now's your time to shine. Get the victory and put yourself into the last 64 of the British Open.
And if he does get them, then you have to just say hats off, really. He's really earned it. Last couple of frames in particular have been brilliant. Really stood up to be counted.
Yeah, he has. Solid as a rock. It's been good. What do you make of the new T-shirts?
There's a few that I really like, you know.
Yeah.
I've not seen yours yet for my sins. And I have a suspicion it's going to be pretty tasty, because you've got a lot to work with there for the lovely folk at Jam Up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of great ones. Really quite like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I like mine. Mine are good. Really like mine.
I've seen a picture of yours and my friends, Liam White's, and all I can say is I just want him to be on the stream table soon, so that everyone at home can see it. Yeah, there's a...
I actually folded it up yesterday in the room. I'm sharing a room this weekend, and I'm telling you now, I've got boxer shorts bigger than that T-shirt. It is the smallest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, a few tasty ones. We'll have to reignite the World Cup of Pro Player shirts and see who can win it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Brian Halcroze. I always have been. I just think he's got a great shirt, but I love the fact that he's added his numbers onto this year's design. 15.09, fastest man in pool. It's like Usain Bolt getting 956 tattooed on him. This is brilliant from Neil. It really is brilliant.
It's been great pool. Really, really good pool.
Michael Hope's not done a huge amount wrong from 2-0 up, you know. He had one frame where I think he probably pushed it, where he maybe sort of tried to force it a little. But other than that, Neil's just taken over. You know, he's been asked a pretty big question by Michael in this group, by Oli in this group, and Neil, having taken a pretty hefty defeat to the Bullet, has answered back in style.
Lovely. And barring a disaster, it's all over.
It is what a fabulous performance by Neil Raybone, under the gun. And he has produced some brilliant pool under some serious pressure to qualify for the last 64. In flies the 8-ball, and the Razor is through. So too is Michael Hope. He got his job done early in this match, but he couldn't be faulted for effort. He just simply was shut out by the Razor. He'll be joining the man next to me, Jimmy Croxton, in the last 64. As the London crowd, Joe Prince, Mary Talbot, pretty pleased to see their man in the main draw. Tony Holgate having a little word as well, just doing some scouting work.